Hi, I'm Chef Lau, and this is Cooking at Home with New Zealand Creamery. I'm going to cook something that your kids will surely love. I'm gonna cook cheese stuffed meatballs. What do we need? We need some ground beef. This is lean ground beef, meaning it has less beef fat. You can use regular ground meat, it's okay because we're gonna add a lot of cheese. What we need to do is just mix ground beef with salt and pepper. Okay, and then we also have minced garlic. And we also have chopped fresh parsley. And then we have here breadcrumbs and milk. What I'll do first with the breadcrumbs is I'm actually going to put the breadcrumbs with the milk. What this does is the breadcrumbs absorbs the milk. So when we add the breadcrumbs to our ground beef, it actually helps our meatballs to be more moist. Then we will add the soaked breadcrumbs to our ground beef. And then lastly, we're gonna add one whole egg, and the egg acts as a binder for our meatballs. I'm gonna wear some gloves, and then I'm gonna mix everything with my hands. Okay, now we have mixed all the ingredients. I'm gonna form them into balls. Now, you want your meatballs not to be too big, and when I say big, it should not be bigger than a golf ball. And then what I do is I wet my fingers and my palm a little bit so the meat is not gonna stick. See? So this is actually a good size. And now we're gonna add the special ingredient here. This is Che-Vital Quickmelt that I dice into a very large cube. This is around ½ an inch. See, this is a nice piece of Che-Vital Quickmelt cheese, and then we're just gonna stuff it like that, and then we're gonna cover it with the meatballs, and then we'll just shape it again. Make sure that your cheese is in the center, and make sure you don't see any exposed Che-Vital Quickmelt cheese, because once we cook this in the sauce, you don't want the cheese to actually leak out of your meatballs. So this is a very nice cheese stuffed meatball. Alright, so now we have our meatballs stuffed with Che-Vital Quickmelt. Now we need to refrigerate this for at least 30 minutes to an hour, because you want everything to actually bind together before you actually cook your meatballs, because when it's cold, it's actually better, and you want to assure that your meatballs are not going to disintegrate or explode when you actually cook it with the sauce. Alright? So we have to put this in the refrigerator. So while we're waiting for the meatballs to bind itself, we will actually cook our spaghetti sauce. Yes! So, we are using here Queensland Butter. You just want to melt the butter. Be careful not to actually brown or burn the butter. And then we will add some diced onions. I'm using white onions. I added onions first because I don't want to burn the garlic. Now you can see the onions from white, now it's turning a little bit translucent, or it's losing its white color. Eventually, it's gonna be a bit golden brown. So this is where I'll actually put the garlic. So I just minced the garlic. It smells really good right now. I'm going to put some bay leaves. This is around 4 bay leaves. And then I'm gonna put diced canned tomatoes. You can use fresh tomatoes if you have, that's even better. So now you can see the garlic and the onions are getting a little bit golden brown. We add all our canned diced tomatoes. Now you can actually use tomato sauce if you don't have diced or canned tomatoes or fresh tomatoes, tomato sauce is perfectly fine. Now we will season this with some freshly ground pepper and salt. I'm using sea salt more than iodized salt because for me, sea salt is better flavor-wise, and also it's easier to control the amount of salt that you actually put in. I'm also going to add brown sugar because I want to balance the acidity of the diced tomatoes, but I don't want this to be sweet, so I'm just adding just enough sugar just to balance the acidity. And then you just let this simmer gently for 30 minutes, and that will be perfect timing for our meatballs. And then we're gonna actually cook the meatballs with the sauce. 30 minutes has passed. As you can see, our sauce is a bit thicker now. And I think our meatballs are ready to be cooked. So let's check it out. As you can see, our meatballs are firmer now. The meat has binded because of the temperature, it's colder. So now we will drop these meatballs in the sauce. We will gently simmer this for another 30 minutes or until the meatballs is cooked. And we need to put a lid on top of your pot, and this will simmer for around 30 to 45 minutes or even up to 1 hour depending on how big your meatballs are. 30 minutes has passed. Let's check our meatballs. Wow! You can see, yes, I think it's getting there. It's okay if you see a little bit cheese that ooze out. That's perfectly fine. That means our meatballs are actually getting cooked already from the inside. This will take around 10 to 15 minutes more, and with that time, we cook our pasta. Here we are using spaghetti. Make sure to put a lot of salt in your boiling water when you cook pasta. You want to season your pasta as well and not just your sauce. Alright? So here's the trick. You put your long pasta in the middle and then you just do this. Make sure it's evenly spread like that. The reason why you want to do that, instead of just putting it flat and all the pasta is just in one area, because this way, when you press it down, it's easier to submerge everything in the water. And then after a minute or so, this will get a little bit soft. It's easier to mix it around. You want to mix it up again every 2 minutes because you don't want your pasta to stick together. 8 minutes has passed. Let's check if our pasta is al dente, meaning it's cooked but still firm. The best way to do it is to actually taste it. Perfect. Okay, so we will strain this. Make sure you strain most of the water or all of the water because you don't want your sauce to be watery. Oh, it fits perfectly. Let's spread the spaghetti evenly, and then we will put first our nice cheese-stuffed meatballs. This is really good. You can see there's a little bit of cheese oozing out. That's fine. And look at the sauce. The sauce is very rich, very tasty because the meat actually flavored our sauce even more. I just want to give a quick taste in case we need to adjust the seasoning. Perfect. No need adjustment. So we'll pour all this nice thick sauce. Wow. You can leave a little bit sauce on the side in case for your kids if they want more sauce or not. And then we will add fresh basil. What I like to do with basil is I don't want to chop the basil, I just want to rip it like this. And usually I add the basil last because the aroma is so nice, but basil, it tends to cook really fast. so the aroma actually disappears when you cook it too long. So in this case, I add it very last minute. And after we put the basil, then we put even more cheese. This is Che-Vital Cheddar that's grated. Wow. Alright, so now we have here our cheese stuffed meatball spaghetti using Che-Vital Quickmelt, Che-Vital Cheddar, and Queensland Butter. This looks really, really great. Thank you so much. This is Chef Lau, and this is Cooking at Home with New Zealand Creamery.